For today's video, I got a Toro Recycler 22-inch personal pace lawnmower. And this one's got a 7.25 horsepower engine, 163 cc's. And I'm just going to give it a general look over. This is for a neighbor of mine, and he doesn't like to mess around. He likes to make sure stuff is in good order. So we're going to go through it, give it a basic look over, quick tune-up. It's a runner. There's nothing really broken with it, but we're going to just look it over, put a nice sharp blade on for him, give him an oil change, just get it ready for the season. Get this thing tipped up so we can get the blade changed over first. And it is just starting to rain. Just my luck. So I got the blade already ready. I like to sharpen it nice. This one I could give a pretty close to a razor cut on because he doesn't have a lot of rocks and sand in his lawn. As you can see by this one, it cleaned up very nicely because of that. So if it was someone else, I might not have gone quite as fine of a point as that. But for this lawn, I know the lawn, so it's okay. And it's pretty clean under there. And now it's raining even worse. I'm going to scrape that deck a little bit though. All right, started raining on me a little bit there yesterday, and I gave up. Much better day today. Let's see if we can get a little bit of the crusties off. Not much on here. Boy, that's about the cleanest mower you'll ever see right there. I'll do a little more off camera and I'll bring it back. All right, we got her upright. Let's see what we got for an air filter. Oh yeah, that's clean. Little bit of wet there. That's from the oil return, but absolutely no reason to change a thing. I'm just going to flip it so the other side is facing the oil now. He's fine there. See what he's got for gas. Yep, about a half a tank. Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's change. I'm going to change the oil, but before I like to change the oil, I like to run it a little bit, get it all stirred up, get it hot, get everything that's settled out into suspension, and then dump it. All right, let's see if this is high enough to get into my drain pan. As is. Yes. Oh, and it needed it. That's some pretty sorry looking stuff. All right, before I spill it all over the place, let's quit. I'll just fill that right back up through the same dipstick hole. I believe most of these Toros are 20 ounces, but I'm just going to use the stick. I'll top it up and I'll bring you back. Okay, I don't like to call out capacities because every engine's different and every year could be different. But I think this one only took about 12 ounces. Also, I may not have fully drained it. I am just happy to have new oil in it. I didn't tip it over for 20 minutes or something, so I might not have got it all, but I think it's 12 is what this particular one takes. The only other thing that's concerning to me is when I was wheeling it over here, these wheels do not freewheel much easily. They are kind of resisting you the whole way. I don't know if that's normal or if there's something that needs to be lubricated. So I'm going to take those wheels off and take a look, see what we got. The only reason I'm curious about this is some of the old models used to have these 2 spring-loaded pawls, and they tick, 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 and I don't hear any of that. I don't know that this is even the same generation as I'm thinking of, but and nor would the owner ever notice, because you just start the engine and go. So if there is something wrong, I want to know if there's something maybe wrapped around the axle, or I just want to see what's going on in here. Make sure everything looks normal. Okay, this is the style I'm used to seeing. Actually, it doesn't grab one way or another. Isn't that interesting? Is that whole shaft rotating? Okay. I have to pick it up and see. These are stuck to the shaft. Okay, now I have to see, by taking that clip off, if these are the kind that are supposed to rotate forward. And if it is, they're completely stuck. The shaft is rotating with this. So if that's a problem, I need to correct that. If it's the way these ones are designed, possibly a design change from what I'm used to, then I'm wrong. But usually this shaft, the wheel can rotate on the shaft forward direction only. So if you were pushing it with the engine off, you hear this click, 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 and I'm not hearing any of that. So anyway, probably just said that same thing twice. Let me get my retaining ring pliers, pull that off, and see what we're looking at here. I got the classic retaining ring pliers, although the spring that used to keep mine positioned has left the building. But I think we'll be able to get it. Whoa, that almost went across the yard and it just landed right on the thing. Wow, that was lucky. I'm putting my hand under there in case those pawls do exist. And they do not. This one is just oval, and that's the way she's designed to operate. Okay, that answers my question. It just seemed harder than it should be to push, and I wanted to make sure. All right, cool. All right, that answers that question. We're good to go. If you were only going to do one job on a small engine, of course, oil change. That prevents your entire engine from damage. But second would be your spark plug. And it's this easy. You literally just unscrew one and put another one in its place. That way you're going to get good firing, less carbon deposits, better emissions if you care about such things, and easier starting, which probably is the finest thing of all. Literally comes out that easy. This particular one, if you know how to read a spark plug, the word read means look at it and see what's going on. This one, we could say maybe it's a little black. So we could say maybe there's a little oil getting in the cylinder, and or a little too rich, meaning we're getting a little too much fuel for the amount of air we got, which could mean a clogged fuel air filter. But in this case, we think the air filter is good. So most likely it's oil fouling. A little black, no big deal. We'll change it once a year and we don't have to worry about it. If this thing starts misfiring, you'll get all kinds of problems. More carbon buildup. You could get hard to start. Impossible to start when hot, impossible to start when cold. Any number of things. Low power, all these things. This one spark plug fixes all that. For those that aren't in on the spark plug game, don't know what to look for, that has numbers on it. Champion RC12YC. And guess what? They still make RC12YC. You can get these in other brands. You could get them in, I'm just checking the gap visually. Usually they're gapped, quote, close enough, but you should check the gap there with the gap checker tool before installing. Basically, there's other brands that cross over, and you can buy this in NGK or any kind of brand you want, and they all do the same thing. They spark. If you were having run problems on one like this, you're not going to really change anything, but you could get what they call a hotter plug or a colder plug to deal with run issues. Something this new, they've really figured all that out, and that's the right plug to go in it for all purpose. So no need to change anything up, but they do cross-reference to other brands. I would just always recommend a name brand, because that goes right in the internals of your engine, and if something was to break off or go bad, the parts could go flying inside your engine, and that's not what you want. Okay, I now have my spark plug gapped. Let's carefully fit that into the threads. Make sure we don't cross thread. Hand pressure only right now. Right about there. And you want to turn this just a little bit. You want to crush that washer that's on the bottom of the plug against the block. Get it tight. Give it a little extra. I'm sure there's a perfect torque spec somewhere other than in my brain right now. And that's how we do that. All right, now before I return it to him, I want to do a functional check. And this is the personal pace. The more you push, the faster it should go. I want to make sure that it's grabbing good, that it should be, pretty much at full speed by the time you get, pretty close to the end stop there. It's proportional. So it should start a little bit and then should grab real good. If not, you can just make a simple adjustment. And we're looking good. That means his belt is in good condition, not stretched too much. And I don't hear any slapping, so I'm not going to take the belt guard off just to look at the belt, because it doesn't get a lot of stress to propel just this little push mower. So I think we're good to go. I hereby declare that Toro 21-inch Wildwood certified for this season. Thanks for watching.